Roadside food consumption is quite common in Nigeria generally, and particularly in Lagos here. I think there are a lot of factors that contribute to the rising incidence or percentage of people that have to consume food from roadside vendors. The most important reason here in Lagos is because of the logistics of people getting to work in the morning and coming back late at night. So it's quite almost impossible for them to actually make their own food. So they invariably have to resort to getting food from food vendors outside. And most of the time, these outside food vendors are located on the roadside, very in close proximity to traffic. So this invariably introduces a lot of risk to the food consumed and to the people that consume this food. I'm going to mention three particular ones that are most significant. The number one I'm going to talking about is food poisoning. That contain microbes, virus, bacteria, parasites, or other types. So the reason for this is because of the level of hygiene that is involved when preparing food for a large number of people. It's almost impossible to replicate the kind of hygiene we maintain while preparing our own personal food. It's almost impossible to replicate that when preparing food for a large number of people. It's just practically impossible. So there tends to be a significant rise in the incidence of food poisoning when we consume food from outside vendors. There are also other risks involved, like what we call heavy metal poisoning. Due to the fact that there is high traffic on our roads, these cars, these vehicles, they exhaust different kinds of metals, lead, mercury, from poor fuel consumption, from other means. These heavy chemicals find their way into the food and into the body system of the consumer. When this happens, the heavy metals tend to pile up, so to say, to accumulate in the body and cause damage to the organs, the livers, the kidneys, even the brain, every organ in the body. These heavy metals it disrupts their functioning and damage these organs. Number three involve substances that are consciously added to the meals. Because you are preparing food for the public, you can't really gauge how long the food is going to stay. That's number one. So you want to add some additives to preserve the food. Some of these preservatives contain chemicals that are harmful to the body. That is one. Number two is that because you're running a food business, you try to make profit. That means you need people to actually eat your food. You need people to come for your food. That means you actually deploy any skill or any knowledge you have to make the food more appealing, which involves adding some additives that are probably not quite helpful to the consumer. What I mean is that these additives might probably harm the consumer, but because it temporarily makes the food more palatable, you are tempted to add it to it. So that is a third significant factor: additives in various forms in order to preserve or make the food more palatable, which ends up causing harm to the consumer. My recommendation would be for people to try as much as possible to make their own meals. And when you must patronize food vendors, you have to make sure that you look into their practice. By practice, I mean how hygienic are they? How do they prepare their meals? The environment they use, is it safe? Is it a place where there is open drainage? There is poor hygiene generally. So you have to consider a lot of things, and also consider how you react to their food.